August 2024 packs a punch. Between Mercury going retrograde, the electric and stressful full moon in Aquarius, and the battle royale between Jupiter and Saturn, there's lots to talk about. Let's take a closer look and break down the most important transits for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work and want to show your support, please take a few seconds of your time to leave me a like or a comment, subscribe, and press that notification bell. Watch another one of my videos. Anything you do helps bring more eyes to my channel, helps me grow. You can also say thank you by buying me a coffee or tea or anything else your heart desires. I appreciate that as well. Before we dive in, if you're looking for personal guidance, you'd like to receive insights into your natal chart, your year to come, or your relationship, you can book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. On my website, you can also pick up a horoscope subscription, which includes monthly horoscopes that are personalized and unique to you, delivered to your mailbox at the start of every month, as well as insights into the week. Additionally, on my website, you can find a variety of candles and oils that I create. In this video specifically, I'd like to highlight my Mercury in Virgo candle. This one is from 2022. It captures Mercury direct in Virgo and could be a perfect remedy for the upcoming Mercury retrograde, because we're going to have Mercury retrograde in Virgo and Leo, and so this could be your assistance to help you think more clearly, to help you avoid the delays, mishaps, communication issues, any challenges that the retrograde is known for. Highly recommend this candle, especially if you're born with Mercury retrograde or your natal Mercury is conjunct opposite square Saturn, Mars, because maybe then you're communicating a lot, like very strongly, but ending in fights with people. And there's another candle that captures a strong Mercury, and that is Mercury Cazimi. This one was created with Mercury in Gemini in June, conjoining the Sun. Cazimi is the moment of empowerment for Mercury, and this one has the lovely scent of coffee. It's decorated with emerald gemstones, which are the stones of Mercury, and can also help you connect with your voice, express yourself, film videos, write, edit any of your work, and talk about more difficult issues. It's crazy, but like, you know, Mercury's retrograde a lot. You may be born with Mercury opposite your moon or square your moon, Mercury in the 6th, 8th, or 12th house. Mercury, even having Mercury in the exact same sign as your sun, if it's within like 10 degrees, it's Mercury combust. So no wonder so many people have communication issues. So this could be a really beautiful candle or candle combo for those of you that are looking to improve your communication. So check out my website for that. Thank you for listening. Let's talk about August. So in August, we have a few zodiac signs highlighted. We have Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. The two will square Saturn. That's what I call the grand battle royale. We have the Sun in Leo. Venus is in Leo a little bit the first 4 days of the month. We get a new moon in Leo. We have Mercury in Virgo, including Mercury retrograding from Virgo into Leo. Venus is in Virgo. So a lot is sort of condensated. A lot of action is concentrated in Gemini, Leo, and Virgo this month, as well as Pisces, because Pisces is highlighted all year with Saturn in Pisces. And we also get the full moon in Aquarius. Well, so let's do the usual thing I do, where I break down the transits of the month and give you some tips, and then we'll dive into each individual horoscope. So the month starts off with Venus squaring Uranus. It's exact on August 2nd. And this could be a very liberating energy if you felt stuck, if you felt frustrated in your relationships, or if you felt unable to express yourself. Venus square Uranus could be beautiful, right? It could be the time when you experiment and you try something new and you disrupt the norm. And disruptions can be just what the relationship needs or just what your art project needs. At the same time, this could also suggest some kind of unpleasant surprises and revelations. Like you find out your partner wants to open up your relationship and you don't know what to do with that, right? Or maybe some kind of, I would recommend to avoid like coloring your hair or doing beauty procedures around this time, because Venus square Uranus is like, oops, that's not what I was hoping for. But doing creative exploration and experimentation, lovely. August 4th, right off the bat, we get a new moon in Leo at 12 degrees 33 minutes. It sextiles Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. So I quite like this. I feel like there's opportunities to step into your power. Leo is a very royal sign, to express your light, your talents with confidence. And with the Gemini energy, it adds curiosity, flexibility, adaptability, versatility to you. So opportunities to assert yourself, to lead, to inspire, that have that element of like intellectual energy, you know, like filming a skit or something. It's a personal example because I have been trying to film skits. I hope you guys are enjoying them. But some kind of, you know, like some kind of new moon opportunities, like I mentioned, to tap into your star power and to take action to open up your life somehow, to try new things. Same day, August 4th, Venus enters Virgo. We'll stay here until August 29th. Venus in Virgo shows love through practical acts, shows love through acts of service, by, you know, filling up your boyfriend's car with gas, helping them make a doctor's appointment, attending to their sort of needs. The danger with Venus in Virgo lies in struggling to relax. The mind is very strong in Virgo, so trying not to get too caught up on the details and avoid being too critical, because that will likely spoil the experience of, let's say you're going to a party and you hate it and you tell everyone you tell everyone exactly what you hate about it. So try to be aware of that. Beware of the critical fall of Venus in Virgo, because she's in fall. And if you'd like help during that period, get my Venus in Libra candle, because that would be a very different, relaxed energy, and I highly recommend that as a contra indicator for Venus in Virgo. August 5th, Mercury goes retrograde. So Mercury's retrograde between the 5th and the 28th of August, so pretty much most of August. How fun. And it goes from 4 degrees Virgo to 21 degrees Leo. And I see this, of course, you know, we will talk about each individual rising sign, and it will affect the Virgo and the Leo houses in your chart. Could be very separate, two separate issues that you are reviewing. Could be two connected issues. I see it as we're moving from Virgo into Leo, right? We're starting in Virgo. So the question is, what practical changes can you make to your health, to your routines, to your everyday life, before you can get into the spotlight? Leo wants to be seen, recognized, appreciated. Virgo is there to be the workhorse, to get the work done, to make a plan. So Mercury retrograde, especially between August 5th and 14th, while it's still in Virgo, the sign of its rulership, is a great time to redo, rewrite, rethink, re-edit some of your routines, some of your structures, your wardrobe, declutter, anything that, you know, Mercury retrograde period, the slowdown, can help you unlock. On August 7th, we have a couple of really lovely transits. Mercury conjoins Venus, helping you express yourself in a charming, eloquent way. You may receive compliments. You may express your feelings and likely receive positive feedback. The Sun also sextiles Jupiter, which is a sign of optimism, good luck, opportunities to grow, to take on something new, to travel, to teach, to plan, to write, and express yourself, right? The Sun being in Leo, Jupiter in Gemini, that sort of flexible, charismatic, quick, mental energy. August 14th is a pretty big day. And I would give it, you know, as always, for most of these transits, you can give them at least 3 days on each side. For August 14th, Mars conjunct Jupiter, I do 4 days on each side. So Mars is the warrior, Jupiter is the sage, right? So Mars together with not just the sage, but like an optimistic god Zeus type character. So you put the warrior, the soldier with the god Zeus character, and you feel empowered, you feel energetic, brave, confident, ready to take on any kind of challenge. However, immediately on the 16th of August, Mars will square Jupiter, and then on the 19th of August, Jupiter will square Saturn. Sorry, let me correct that. Immediately on August 16th, Mars will square Saturn. I feel like I may have said Jupiter. But basically, Mars and Jupiter come together on the 14th. Excitement. I can handle anything. I am all powerful and confident and unafraid. Immediately, August 16th, Mars squares Saturn. August 19th, Jupiter squares Saturn. So what happens? Your enthusiasm gets blocked. Real life concerns, right? You feel excited to go on a trip. Your child gets sick and you can't go. You feel ready to move. You get a legal matter that needs to be addressed. You are focused on a business project. You get a bill that you need to handle. So Saturn, you know, Mars squares Saturn, Jupiter squares Saturn in August, and then again in December, and then again next year. So it's all very much like take a step back, rethink, address practical real life concerns. Saturn will not tell you never, right? Never. Saturn will not. Saturn will encourage you to deal with those practical life concerns because you can't avoid them, right? We are here in a body that needs tending to, needs attention. So sometimes your enthusiasm gets checked by reality. So that is like a really big signature of August. It's this like, yay, and then like, nay. So excitement that gets swamped and may feel super frustrating, right? Between August 16th, 19th, even a little bit after that, Jupiter-Saturn aspect like lingers for a little bit. So August might feel frustrating, not gonna lie. But as long as you're patient, as long as you're addressing things one step at a time, you can handle it. And what's interesting is this energy gets encapsulated in the full moon we have on August 19th. The full moon on August 19th is in Aquarius. It squares Uranus because the sun squares Uranus the same day. And so we have a T-square between the sun in Leo, moon in Aquarius, Uranus and Taurus on the same day as Venus squares Jupiter and opposes Saturn. So there's a T-square between Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. And two T-squares, squares are tough. T-square means there's three players and it's like three cars at an intersection and nobody knows which one goes first, right? And they might try to go at the same time. So the full moon on the 19th can feel, and I think it's sort of like, it's the not the catalyst, but maybe like the crisis point of the entire month because it just has so much stressful energy. I get like tense even thinking about it. But I think, you know, you might feel this full moon the most if you have planets, angles, your ascendant, descendant, IC, MC between 24 and 29 degrees fixed signs. You're also potentially going to feel it if you have a lot of mutable placements. But this just feels like some type of, the square to Uranus feels like some kind of a breakdown, breakthrough. There's a need to think rationally about things, right? The full moon in Aquarius asks you, well, step away from the drama, right? Think rationally about things. Remove yourself from all of the emotionality of things because, you know, Venus opposite Saturn, relationship tensions, delays, blocks, square to Jupiter. You want to have fun. You want to expand. You want to go for things, but something is stopping you. Something is affecting your relationship. Something is affecting your pleasure. Something is affecting your plans because maybe you don't have enough money, or you have a debt, or you have, you know, you get sick, like something happens. And so the full moon in Aquarius, as frustrating as it might be, will very much suggest a need to think rationally about things and take a step back. A couple of things I missed on August 14th. Mercury re-enters Leo, so the retrograde continues now in Leo. Mercury will be in Leo from the 14th of August until September 9th. Your speech is more charming, your speech is more grand, your speech is more personal, loud and proud and full of jokes. But watch out for being sort of too cocky in the process, or watch out for not paying attention to what other people are saying. August 18th, we have Mercury squaring Uranus, which is an opportunity for a breakthrough, intellectual surprises, revelations, the same day as Mercury conjoins the Sun in Leo. And Mercury Cazimi, which is the conjunction between the Sun and Mercury, is always the time of clarity. So in the midst of this tension, right, we do get Mercury Cazimi, and that is powerful, that is insightful, that is opportune for thinking about things, for self-understanding, for making plans, for kind of approaching things rationally and perhaps trusting that things will be okay, trusting your mind to help you figure things out. So August 19th is just insanity, like I mentioned. August 22nd, the Sun enters Virgo, stays here until September 22nd. Virgo season is about the end of summer, right? It's about some type of adjustment is required. We've had a lot of drama. Now Virgo season gets to work, helping you prioritize self-care, helping you focus on what's important, right? Virgo being the sign, the last sign of summer, having to do with sort of gathering the harvest, thinking about distributing it, which is what Libra picks up and continues dealing with. But like Virgo has that critical eye. So hopefully the Sun entering Virgo can help us use the critical eye and approach problems with more mercurial perspective, sort of more rational versus emotional, dramatic Leo energy. On August 22nd, Venus will also square Mars. We can't get a break in the middle of the month. It's just a lot. So Venus squares Mars August 22nd, 3 days before, 3 days after. What has Venus been through? Venus has squared Jupiter, has opposed Saturn all between like August 16th all the way until August 25th, right? Squared Jupiter, opposed Saturn. Squared Jupiter, got excited about something. Opposed Saturn, was told no. Now it squares Mars. Now it's some kind of conflict between masculine and feminine, the action versus inaction, the receptive versus proactive, the narrowing down Venus and Virgo energy, the spreading efforts, Gemini energy. So watch out for some kind of drama, for conflicts, for irritations between you and like people of the opposite gender in your life. If you're in a happy relationship, this can also be a sign of like intense passion. So it could be good, but could be challenging. The end of the month, it sort of finally starts to quiet down a little bit. August 24th, we have Mercury sextiling Mars, helping us talk things out, giving us still an element of like courage to our speech, directness, bluntness, but at the same time, hopefully a little bit of flexibility. Mercury's in Leo, Mars is in Gemini. August 27th, after all the drama Venus has been through, she now trines Uranus. So this is helpful, right? This is exciting, whether it is because you wrapped some relationship, some project, something that wasn't working out, and now you look forward to new beginnings. You are gearing up for fall, for Venus entering Libra, but there is very much desire and opportunities to experiment, explore, and love art and beauty. August 28th, Venus is not done. She now opposes Neptune. So there still might be some melancholy, I think. Like you're excited, but you're feeling maybe you need to mourn something from the past. Maybe you're feeling insecure about life and uncertain and a little bit confused. Watch out for self-sacrifice. Watch out for making important decisions. Don't color your hair purple out of sadness. Or blue, sadness inside out too. Mercury goes direct on the 28th of August. Woohoo! Mercury moving direct. Finally, you know, more forward momentum. I am probably going to be revealing my 2025 planner around that time. I am actively working on it, just powering through it in July right now. Trying to get each month done in like 2-3 days, which is pretty fast, I think. So that will be a good time for any planner-like projects you have, right? If you have a website you've been working on, a book you've been writing, Mercury going direct is the time to be like, here is what I made. Here is my baby. My baby. So that's exciting. August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Beautiful. She's here until September 22nd. Some of us get it in their solar return chart. If only I was ruled by Venus next year and not Mars, that will be in Cancer. But anyways, enough about me. So Venus enters Libra. Venus in Libra is charming, playful. She's in rulership. She is confident. She's happy with herself. She's happy to flirt. Nothing has to lead anywhere. We're having fun. We know our worth. Relationships are likely to benefit from this. Let's just go with the flow. Let's enjoy the moment energy. And Venus also trines Pluto on August 29th, which can help you harness the intensity of Pluto, the focus, the obsessive energy into maybe like a new style for yourself, a creative project, a relationship. So intensity and passion together. So these are the main events of the month. If you'd like to know what most of them mean for you and what else is going on in your chart, if you'd like a personal look, become a subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also book a one-on-one consultation with me there to talk about your relationship, your year to come, and more. So let's dive into the rising signs. Why not, right? If you are an Aries rising, in July, you have potentially dealt with some financial matters with Mars and Taurus. Maybe you've traveled to see family or made plans to see family with the Sun, Venus, and New Moon in Cancer, your 4th house, feeling sort of nostalgic and driven to see loved ones is likely. We also had a lot of action in Leo, so opportunities to date, opportunities to procreate, spend time with children, have fun could have presented themselves. However, not without a drama, as those planets in Leo oppose Pluto, you may have dealt with issues in your friendships, challenges in balancing your maybe time you want to spend with kids and your outside, your sort of big dreams. And the full moon in Capricorn, the second full moon in Capricorn on July 21st, potentially brought change, endings, completion to your professional sector. Please share, what was July like? Were you able to avoid much drama, or did you sort of get caught in it? In August, Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini, your 3rd house. So, and the two will conjoin, right? Mars is here all month. Jupiter is here all the way until June 2025. Your mind is busy. There is new ideas. There is more short trips. There is more people to see, places to go, connections to make, new ideas. I think I said that already, but like 3rd house is your everyday life. So you're driving, watch out for driving too fast, but you're like driving places, connecting with people, meeting people, exercising in the neighborhood, sort of having a good time. And Mars-Jupiter conjunction on August 14th can ignite your enthusiasm, can inspire you to start a business, to start studying something, to start teaching, to get more involved with your siblings, your neighbors, your community, to sort of make a name for yourself as a new yoga teacher or something like that. However, Both Mars and Jupiter immediately square Saturn in your 12th house. This is active between like August 10th and August 25th, let's say. Most of August, especially because Jupiter moves much slower than Mars. Mars, I'd give 4 days on each side. Jupiter is at least 10 days on each side. So somehow your desire to take action in the neighborhood, to write, to speak, to study, to assert yourself, to make new connections, it needs to contend with Saturn in the 12th. And Saturn in the 12th represents all the limitations you're dealing with, whether they come from yourself in terms of self-defeating beliefs, right? Maybe you need to address your inner doubt that you cannot achieve the things you want, that you don't have enough knowledge, that you don't have enough resources, or they may come from other people. 12th house oftentimes is things outside of our control. So you're maybe dealing with a loss of someone, or you're dealing with a challenge in relationship, some kind of past difficult emotion. So the square to Saturn is very much an invitation for you to work through it, to maybe take a step back, to pause, to take care of your mental health first, to treat yourself with kindness, love, and patience. The entire month, not the entire month, but like until August 22nd, the sun is in Leo, your 5th house, which is the place of romance, pleasure, children, parenthood. The sun in Leo will inspire you to spend more time with kids, will inspire you to connect with your creative talents, to go on more dates, to have fun. We also get a new moon here on August 4th, which is an opportunity to start a new relationship, to start a creative project, to start trying for a baby, but to start trying for a baby. You know, it also sextiles Mars and Jupiter in your 3rd house, so it's very much like finding pleasure, finding more joy in your life through the use of your skills, gifts, starting a business, and expressing yourself. There is a lot of action in your house of health all month. Mercury is here. Venus is here from August 4th until August 29th. The sun is here from August 22nd until September 22nd. So you are taking care of health. You're maybe focusing on eating better. You're meal prepping. You're seeing doctors. You're seeing a personal trainer. Mercury will go retrograde over here between August 4th and August 28th. The retrograde starts in Virgo, your 6th house, goes into Leo, your 5th house. And there's a cazimi on the 18th, which can be the time you experience some kind of insight, revelation, realization. But this could, this could be like, okay, maybe you're dealing with 2 separate issues. There is an issue involving your diet, your work, some kind of project that you need to redo, and a challenge that maybe has to do with finding inspiration, creativity. Maybe someone from your past comes into your life, especially between August 14th and 28th, when Mercury is retrograding in Leo, your 5th house. Or those 2 can be connected, right? With the retrograde going from the 6th into the 5th, it makes me wonder if there is some kind of practical changes that you need to make to your life before you can reach the spotlight, before you can find that joy and pleasure you're looking for, or before you can put yourself out there and start dating. There is something that you need to rethink. And some kind of, maybe you need to declutter, maybe you need to get rid of some old clothes, maybe you need to rebuild your home, see a doctor, sort of take care of everything that needs attention before you sort of find that pleasure in life. On August 19th, we have a very tense full moon in Aquarius, your 11th house. So this is pretty dramatic, not going to lie. Ooh. Spilling water all over because of the dramatic full moon. So the full moon is happening in your 11th house. 11th house is the place of friendships, networks, hopes and dreams. And so this full moon brings completion to the chapter started on February 9th when we had the new moon in Aquarius. And it could suggest endings, release, changes in group projects. Maybe you're wrapping up a group project, transformations of friendships. There's a square to Uranus in Taurus in your second house. So the friendship changes might be connected to disagreements around money, disagreements around values, something that you find important, your friends don't and don't appreciate. So there's definitely an opportunity for some kind of breakthrough. This is also around the same time as like Venus in your 6th opposes Saturn in the 12th, squares Jupiter in the 3rd. So a lot of like restricting, challenging energy that you are having to navigate. And the full moon in Aquarius is very much an invitation to take a deep breath, to slow down, and to like, I guess, think about things rationally, right? Think about things from a perspective of an Aquarius. What is best for the collective? What is good for you? How can you put the two together and create more stability in your life? But yeah, definitely changes, transformations around friendships, networks, social media, hopes and dreams are quite likely here. And then on August 29th, Venus enters Libra. We'll stay here until September 22nd. This is beautiful. This is Venus in the sign of rulership in your house of relationships, helping you navigate romance, connect with other people, sign contracts, negotiate, and making things a little bit easier for the next 3 weeks. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, you want to know what's happening for you every month, you can become my subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also purchase a subscription and, you can also pick up a reading and get a one-on-one consultation with me talking about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. Moving on to the beautiful Taurus rising. In July, you were taking care of your body, asserting yourself, maybe exercising more with Mars and Taurus, your first house. There could have been a lot more action in your neighborhood, maybe new ideas, maybe more meetings with siblings or neighbors with the Sun, Venus, and new moon in Cancer, your 3rd house. Additionally, you may have felt more nostalgic and traveled to see family or spend more time beautifying your home with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun in Leo. But it wasn't all easy as planets in Leo opposed Pluto in your 10th house, suggesting some tensions between your home life, your family life, and your professional aspirations. So maybe you realize that you need better work-life balance and you need to make some changes. Additionally, we had the full moon in Capricorn, your 9th house, on July 21st, the second full moon in Capricorn, and that could have brought changes around education, travel, writing, legal matters, and publishing. You may have relocated or finished education, took some exams, dealt with a legal issue, or finished writing something. In August, Mars is in your 2nd house, and so is Jupiter. So you are exploring new money-making ideas. You are coming up with maybe a new business idea. Maybe you're just being more proactive. If you're, let's say, if you're a real estate agent, Mars and Jupiter in the 2nd house could bring more meetings, more people to see, more houses to sell. So kind of abundance of opportunities, right? Mars and Jupiter conjoin on August 14th, which is a sign of excitement. You're getting ready to take action, to, you know, express sort of, I guess, yeah, like express yourself, reach new heights, maybe a new idea. Like, I feel like, you know, it's the house of money, but it's also the house of values. So it could very much be a new business idea, but it can also just be something you're excited about, something you want to pursue in the future. However, Mars and Jupiter will both square Saturn in your 11th house between August 16th, August 19th, and give it at least 10 days on each side because Jupiter moves very slowly. suggesting some kind of tension. You are with Mars and Jupiter in the second, you see this new opportunity, new possibility that is magical and gives you freedom or maybe increases your income. But the square to Saturn in the 11th suggests that your dream gets reality check from Saturn, and Saturn in the 11th could represent people in your network not agreeing with your plan, or maybe, you know, your financial goals contradict the resources that are available, or like the resources you have contradict the reality of the situation. So needing to have balance and maybe look for relationships, for connections, for resources to help you reach your dreams and make them a reality is quite likely here. The focus on home and family continues until August 22nd. The sun is in Leo, your 4th house. There's also a new moon in Leo on August 4th, sextiling Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, your 2nd house. So I can see maybe opportunities to expand a home, to move, to invest into a home. There might be new beginnings in the family. Maybe you're starting a family, or a family member is having a child and your family is growing. So because there is that sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the second, I wonder too, you know, the energy I spoke about with Mars and Jupiter conjoining in the 2nd house of money and values, maybe there's a way to work from home, or there's a way to join your family business or something like that. Or some family, like family supporting your dreams potentially and encouraging you to maybe start something. Your house of romance, pleasure, and children is also highlighted all month. Mercury's here, Venus, and the Sun from August 22nd, which could suggest more opportunities to date, more opportunities to connect with children, make children if you're trying to get pregnant, maybe connect with your inner child, have fun, right? Venus is in Virgo from August 4th until August 29th. Venus and Virgo can encourage you to maybe play games that are both intellectually stimulating and fun, to teach your kids something practical, to date someone who is very like mercurial and analytical. Venus is in its fall in Virgo, which could suggest the danger of being too critical and too nitpicky. I highly recommend my Venus and Taurus candle. Look how pretty and pink it is, because this is Venus in the sign of rulership and it's in your sign, which could help you kind of mellow this energy out and have a bit of a sort of chill time with it. Mercury also goes retrograde between August 4th and August 28th. The retrograde starts in Virgo, your 5th house, and then goes into Leo, your 4th house. And so the retrograde can represent two separate, like, kind of revision periods. The beginning of it until August 14th maybe is the time you are addressing relationship tensions, dealing with exes coming back into your life, looking for inspiration. And then the period from the 14th until the 28th might represent a need to review your living situation, to make some changes to your home, to redo a construction project, or the two can be connected, right? Like with retrograde moving from the 5th into the 4th, maybe there is a change happening in the life of your child and you need to move because of that, or you need to redesign your home to fit maybe your child wanting a separate room because they're growing up, right? Or because you're lacking inspiration, you're maybe needing to build an art studio so that you have space to pursue kind of your creative passions in the home, right? So the two are possible. Or you're trying to figure out how to move in together with your significant other, so that will also tie the two areas together. On August 19th, we have a very tense full moon in Aquarius. It squares Uranus in your 1st house, and it highlights your 10th house, and also brings completion to the chapter started on February 9th with the new moon in Aquarius. So take a look back to see what was happening in your life around that time. The full moon squares Uranus in the first, which very much represents your desire to be independent, right? Uranus has been in your first house for a while. It is encouraging you to be your own person, to be a revolutionary, to kind of separate yourself from the job you're at, from the relationship you're in, from what other people are doing. So, you know, the full moon in the 10th could be at the most sort of explosive, your desire to be independent and quitting your job because you've had enough. And that's why there's also a T-square, there's two T-squares. One is the full moon to Uranus. The second one is Venus, Jupiter, and Gemini. And so that could also be, even in the beginning of your horoscope, I talked about Mars, Saturn square, Jupiter, Saturn square. So beware of the reckless decisions. Watch out for sort of like a knee-jerk, I quit type energy. If it happens, it happens. Maybe it's for the better. It's probably for the better. But I would suggest that you sort of think things through and be more careful. But the full moon in Aquarius is definitely the time when your work situation changes. Something is changing around your reputation, around your status, around what you're known for. As maybe you switch directions, change jobs, give birth and take a break from working, complete a project, anything is possible. And then on August 29th, Venus enters Libra, your 6th house. Will stay here until September 22nd, helping you have better relationships with colleagues, find more joy in the everyday life, encouraging you to take care of your health and maybe declutter, but also have fun while doing it. If you're looking for more, you can become my horoscope subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and receive monthly horoscopes emailed to you at the start of every month. On my website, you can also pick up a reading and get a one-on-one consultation with me to find out more about your relationship, your natal chart, or your year to come. If you are the lovely Gemini rising in July, you may have taken a step back, got away, traveled, or focused on your mental health and spirituality with Mars and Taurus, your 12th house. We had a bunch of planets in Cancer, especially early in the month, your 2nd house, encouraging you to pay off debts, take care of finances, consult financial advisors. And then planets in Leo encouraged new ideas, maybe called you to write, to speak, to blog, or start a YouTube channel. And also maybe spend more time with siblings. However, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus and Leo all opposed Pluto in your 9th house, and maybe there were some challenges involving travel, some kind of like logistical issues you had to address, some legal matters that slowed you down, and even some ideological battles with like siblings and neighbors you needed to address. Finally, the full moon in Capricorn, your 8th house, on July 21st. The second full moon encouraged you to pay off debts, disentangle yourself from toxic relationships, and clear any outstanding wounds and heal yourself. In August, Mars and Jupiter are both in your 1st house of identity, giving you the energy to take action, express yourself, courage and confidence. Desire to work out, desire to speak up, desire to be more visible, right? It might be the time when you're taking action, starting that YouTube channel, starting a business, going for your dreams. Mars conjoins Jupiter on August 14th, so this exciting energy will be at its highest around that time. However, immediately Mars and Jupiter both square Saturn, so that's active on... It's exact between August 16th and 19th, but you can give it 10 days on each side, so it's pretty much present the entire month. And since Saturn is in your 10th house, this is very literal conflict between your personal projects and personal goals and your bosses, or your work, or your duties to the board you're on, if you're on like your building's board or something. So you may have to navigate the challenges presented by bosses, by authorities, by some kind of, you know, restrictions that you can't escape. Basically, Saturn being in your 10th house suggests that there is no way but through, no way out but through. So taking a step back, reconsidering maybe coming up with a better plan. Like, let's say you want to start a photography business, but you have a job that pays the bills and the photography business doesn't yet. And your boss is being really sort of wants all of your time, which is not even allowing you to work on your business. So deal with the boss first. Try to figure out how you can work a little less potentially and, you know, have a little bit more freedom for personal goals, and then persevere and keep going. The focus on your ideas and your mind and your communication continues with the Sun in Leo until August 22nd. You are very much encouraged to come up with new ideas, right? Your mind is very busy. You're very social. There's likely to be more places to go, more people to see. You can write around this time, you can blog, you might enjoy filming videos and things like that. It's like a very kind of empowered time for your mind and your speech. You might also be spending a lot of time with siblings, neighbors, your community. There's a new moon in Leo on August 4th. It sextiles Mars and Jupiter in the first house, encouraging you to tell your story, to become more visible, to start a business or start a project with a sibling or a neighbor. At the same time, this month, there is a lot of attention as well on your home, family, and living situation, as Mercury is in Virgo, Venus enters Virgo on August 4th, will stay here until August 29th, and the Sun enters on the 22nd of August. So perhaps you are driven to spend time with family. Perhaps you are interested in rethinking your design in the home, right? Maybe you're feeling nostalgic. Maybe you're focusing on bringing more comfort into your life. Mercury goes retrograde between August 4th and 28th. The retrograde starts in Virgo, your 4th house, and then goes into Leo, your 3rd house. Which could suggest that, you know, you're dealing maybe with some kind of home renovation projects, but also needing to rewrite some projects, maybe dealing with some kind of miscommunications with siblings. Mercury retrograde in the 3rd from the 14th until the 28th could be very much the time when you're having to update your technology, you know, revisit some challenges with the siblings, rewrite some projects, retake some exams. Or the two can be connected. The two can also be about, like, how can you know, find more comfort and security in your home and where you live by decluttering, by streamlining your schedule, by connecting with your neighbors and building relationships with the neighbors, or talking about things instead of stifling them down. Some of the questions that might be coming up around this time. I highly recommend for you guys, Gemini risings, my Mercury Kazemi candle, because this is Mercury in Gemini, the sign of rulership, conjunct the Sun. So it can help you deal with any kind of misunderstandings, confusion, and frustration of the retrograde with a more calm and clear mind. The retrograde ends on the 28th, and then after that you may start to feel a little bit more like yourself. August 19th, we have the full moon in Aquarius, your 9th house. It is really intense, this full moon. It squares Uranus in your 12th, which could represent some surprises, things coming out of left field, things outside of your control that affect your education, that affect your life philosophy, that affect your legal situation, legal status somewhere. So be ready to deal with sort of disruptions. Be ready to stay patient, take a step back. All things considered, this full moon can possibly bring changes around where you live, maybe opportunities to move, relocate. There may be changes ending to a trip you're on that could be a little bit sudden because maybe, you know, a family member calls you and tells you you have to come back. You may be graduating, you may be finishing a writing project, you may be finishing some kind of legal battle because you're just over it. The ruler is Saturn in the 10th house, and so I think You're very much, you know, making tough decisions about the future and where you see yourself, where you want to be, because Saturn also opposes Venus in Virgo in the 4th house. Finally, on August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Your 5th house will stay here until September 22nd. Venus is in her joy in the 5th house, and Venus is in rulership in Libra. So, beautiful time to date. If you're not interested in a relationship, date yourself. Have fun. Go dancing. Start a hobby. You will enjoy spending time with children. Relationships with children will be easier and more enjoyable. And just overall a lovely time to connect with yourself and have fun. If you're looking for more, you can become a subscriber on my website for a personal horoscope to find out what's coming up for you, what transits are activated in your chart, and what all of this means for you personally. You can purchase a subscription on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, or you can book a reading for a one-on-one consultation with me to talk about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. If you are Cancer rising, in July you may have gone out more, connected with friends, or spent time with people in your community. With Mars and Taurus, your 11th house. Opportunities to reinvent yourself, to change your look, to change your style or your brand may have been on offer with the Sun, Venus, and New Moon in Cancer, your 1st house. Venus, Mercury, and the Sun in Leo, the 2nd house, also brought attention to your finances. Maybe you spent more, maybe you made more, maybe you brainstormed new financial ideas. And there could have been some drama, in fact, around money and values, disagreements between yourself and your significant other, or disagreements between what you want to spend on and how much money you have, as the planets in Leo oppose Pluto in the 8th. And finally, the 2nd full moon in Capricorn on July 21st brought even more attention to your house of relationships and partnerships, continuing the themes from June 2024, suggesting a time of transformation, commitment, or maybe endings or changes in relationships and business partnerships. In August, Mars and Jupiter spend the entire month in your 12th house, which fires you up. The two can join also on August 14th, and that fires you up and calls you to focus on your spiritual calling, right? 12th house is the place of hidden passions. It's the house that's considered to be the house where your blind spots live. So blind spots might also include passions and interests you have. So you may feel inspired to do yoga, to meditate, to do astrology. You may desire to escape. 12th house can also represent faraway places or places in which you feel somehow isolated. So for those of you who are thinking of like moving and relocating, Mars conjunct Jupiter could be very much, yes, I'm gonna do it, I'm excited, I'm taking action, I feel fired up. Healing and doing healing work can figure around this time as well. However, Mars and Jupiter will both square Saturn, so it's not without problems, right? Saturn is in your 9th house. The exact sort of epicenter of the squares is between August 16th, 19th, but give it 10 days on each sign because Jupiter moves pretty slowly. And so Jupiter hangs out in a square with Saturn most of the month, basically. So Saturn in the 9th may bring legal matter that you have to address before you move to that brand new place. It can bring a challenging authority figure, like a teacher or a mentor, who is maybe not letting you take the next step and become that astrologer, become that healer. There might be some beliefs that you need to address, some sort of, what people believe you should do. So some kind of like tensions between what is good for you versus what the rules are will need to be addressed. So now, be patient with this. Know that things will not necessarily go your way. Just be ready for roadblocks, but keep going. It's not a no, not ever, never gonna happen. It's like not yet. One take a step back. This energy will come back around in December, so definitely be ready. And check out my candle shop, because Moon in Cancer can be the perfect candle for you, helping you soothe yourself. It's the silver one. I don't have it next to me, but I've shown it to you a bunch of times. It can be really good for like calming things down, relaxing. It's also your chart ruler, so it's perfect for you guys. The focus on money and values continues with the Sun in Leo until August 22nd. We also get a new Moon in Leo on August 4th and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in Gemini 12th. So once again, your money, your values, your desire for financial stability gets connected to the house of spirituality, healing, foreign lands. So moving in order to make money, becoming a healer, finding a therapist, investing into your mental health is all quite likely. The new Moon in Leo represents that for the next 6 months, you're likely to focus on creating more financial stability, maybe looking for a new job, maybe making a big purchase, saving for a big purchase, and also taking action to bring your vision into reality, right? And sometimes you need to consult a financial advisor or start a savings account, or think very carefully about your spending before you make things happen. Venus enters Virgo on August 4th, stays here until August 29th. The Sun enters on August 22nd. This highlights your third house, encouraging more communication, more connections with siblings. Maybe you're talking more to them, more short trips and opportunities to explore your neighborhood. Your mind is also very creative and very powerful, especially with the Sun here from August 22nd. Mercury will go retrograde on August 4th and will stay retrograde until August 28th. The retrograde starts in Virgo, your third house, and then on the 14th, it shifts into Leo, your second house. So the two can be separate, right? The beginning could be about some miscommunication with a sibling, technology breaking down, some logistical or travel issue that you're needing to address. And the second half could be maybe about some bill you forgot to pay or some type of financial situation. Or the two can be very much connected, right? If we are talking about money and your desire for financial stability, the fact that the retrograde begins in the third house, I think it's asking you what practical changes need to be made to your notebooks, to your routines, to your everyday life, even to the way you think. Like, what needs to change, right? How can you have a better flow? Which exams do you need to take? Which technology do you need to get to bring yourself to that place of better financial literacy and financial stability? Could be a really great time to consult a financial advisor. And avoid making big sort of spendings at this time, especially if it's a brand new purchase or a brand new idea that you're just now conceiving of, now meaning during the retrograde. If it's something you've been thinking about for a while, go for it, but still make sure to like have enough money put aside, because sometimes the retrograde in the second house could mean you made the money and now you have to spend the money. Just a second. I have the fan going, which is perfect for helping me deal with the heat, but not so great for speaking and having it blow right into my face. On August 19th, we have the full moon in Aquarius, your 8th house. This is intense. This is a difficult full moon. It has not just one T-square. The full moon squares Uranus in your 11th, but there's also a T-square between Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn at the same time. So like double the drama. So the full moon in the 8th brings attention to your relationships with other people, to the resources of other people, and potentially suggests a need to transform things. It suggests a need to pay off a debt, to transform a relationship, to discuss things honestly, right? To be vulnerable but unafraid at the same time, which I guess to me that's how true vulnerability is, or what it's about. You have to be both honest and unafraid. And so opportunities to, you know, like I said, pay off debts, deal with financial matters, have uncomfortable conversations are all likely here. But you may run into some kind of like tensions, disagreements, frustrations, delays to your progress that will require you to think rationally and move slowly. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra, your 4th house, which will encourage better relationships with family members, opportunities to connect with family, improve your home, improve your living situation, and maybe even just spend more time at home enjoying yourself. If you're looking for more, you want to understand what's coming up for you, become my horoscope subscriber on my website to receive monthly horoscopes sent to you at the start of every month, AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com, or you can become a VIP subscriber to have a one-on-one consultation with me every month. Additionally, on my website, you can book a reading, a natal chart, predictive, relationship one to get a personal consultation with me too. If you are the lovely Leo rising, in July, you may have taken professional action with Mars and Taurus. At the same time, you could have also felt a little bit more private and introspective during Cancer season. Later in the month, as planets started to actively shift into Leo, you potentially felt more ready to show the world yourself, to beautify yourself, to also focus on what is it that makes you happy and excited. There was some drama with Venus, Mercury, and the Sun opposite Pluto in the 7th house, tensions between you and your partners, your friends, your lovers. Some kind of disagreements around relationships, some power struggles that Pluto could have represented, or maybe your partner going through a difficult time, affecting you and your bliss. And the full moon in Capricorn, the second full moon in Capricorn on July 21st brought change and transformation to your house of work, health, service, and pets. In August, Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini, your 11th house, all month. They conjoin on August 14th. And this energizes you, right? Jupiter just went into Gemini, stays here for a full year. Mars comes in and emphasizes this area even more, speeds things up. You feel excited about new partnerships, new social media projects, new networking opportunities, new friendships, maybe becoming an influencer, things like that. You're kind of expanding your reach on many levels. However, Mars and Jupiter will both square Saturn. This is exact between August 16th and 19th, but I would give it 10 days on each side, so basically the entire month. And this brings tensions between your goals and your sort of dreams and projects and your debts, your money, your existing agreements and relationships. So you will have to be kind of careful as you follow these dreams, because it's not likely to go according to plan, and it's not likely also to go as fast, or things are not likely to happen as fast as you would like them to. So get ready to stay patient and, you know, be kind of careful jumping into things, because you don't want to sign up for something that will take all of your money and put you in a situation where you owe even more that you already do. So you have to consider carefully the contracts you're signing, the partnerships you're entering, and the money you have available to spend. The focus on your identity continues. The Sun is in Leo until August 22nd. There's a new moon in Leo on August 4th. All suggesting that you have more energy, more confidence, more courage. You're more willing to be in the spotlight. You're maybe reinventing yourself, getting excited about something. Venus enters Virgo on August 4th. We'll stay here until August 22nd. Mercury is also in Virgo. The Sun enters on August 22nd. Venus from the 4th until the 29th. I don't know if I said 22nd. Still kind of highlighting questions of money, right? Venus in the 2nd house will encourage you to be more practical when it comes to your spending. It may encourage you to come up with a financial plan and maybe even invest money into your health, into self-care, into your routines. Mercury will go retrograde in Virgo and in Leo. The retrograde starts on the 4th, lasts until the 28th, connecting your house of money and your house of identity. And those two can be separate issues, right? The retrograde starts in the 2nd, and maybe there is a financial challenge you're dealing with, the bill you forgot to pay, the sudden spending you need to address, a sudden sort of situation that requires you to spend. And the first house could also just be connected to the way you view yourself. Maybe you feel tired of your style and you need to make some adjustments. You need to rethink your skincare. Or the two can be connected, right? Maybe it's the time to consult a financial advisor and make changes to your spending habits, pay off debts, so that you can become the best version of yourself, so that you can shine and express yourself better, right? Like, our finances are very much they're important because oftentimes they let us do things we like to do. So the two are very interesting, I think. But watch out for making big purchases at this time. It will be better if you stay kind of thoughtful and careful in terms of what you spend on and how much you spend right now. On August 19th, we get the full moon in Aquarius. This one is dramatic. At the same time as the full moon, we get the square between Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, which could represent some rejection, some slowdown. Once again, things don't go according to plan. You need to move carefully and slowly. The full moon in Aquarius represents changes to your relationships. It completes a chapter started in February 2024 when we had a new moon in Aquarius. And the full moon also squares Uranus in the 10th. So a relationship might transform in response to some kind of professional breakdown or breakthrough. You get a job in Paris. You move to Paris, you do long distance, or you move to Paris with your significant other. You start a relationship, you start living together. You get a job that takes you somewhere, you decide to maybe wrap up a relationship. You it's very much about relationships, but it's also connected to what's happening in the house of the career and transformations that are happening there. You may also, you may choose to end a business contract because you're seeking more freedom potentially. So definitely, definitely be patient. Do not make any sort of reckless, rash moves because that's not necessarily going to serve you at this point. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Your third house will stay here until September 22nd. This is beneficial for writing, for speaking, for coming up with creative ideas, for dealing with siblings, neighbors, going out, having fun, going on more short trips, and it should also help smooth any challenges, any kind of difficulties you may have experienced in relationships. If you're looking for more, become my subscriber to receive monthly horoscopes emailed to you at the start of every month on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also get a VIP subscription and receive monthly consultations with me, or book a reading to get a natal chart, solar return, year ahead, relationship reading, all on my website. If you are the lovely Virgo rising, in July you were focusing on travel, education, writing, and publishing with Mars and Taurus, your ninth house. There could have been more opportunities to network and connect with your peers, as we still had Cancer season until about July 22nd. And then you may have retreated and sort of felt a desire to take a step back and rest a little bit, to focus on your mental health or to focus on your spiritual pursuits and passions, with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun entering Leo, your 12th house. However, it wasn't all easy. The 3 planets in Leo all oppose Pluto in the 6th house, and this could have suggested that some of your peace and joy could have been disrupted by the drama at work or some health issues you or a loved one went through, or some, you know, maybe even issues with your pet that have happened. So perhaps that encouraged better work-life balance and encouraged you to make changes that create that balance. Finally, on July 21st, we had the second full moon in Capricorn, your 5th house, and that would have brought attention to your house of romance, pleasure, and children, potentially inspiring some transformations in that area. What was July like for you? Please share down below. In August, Mars and Jupiter spend the month in Gemini, your 10th house. And this speeds up your professional sector. You have more courage, you have more ambition, more desire, more drive. Mars and Jupiter together is a warrior on steroids, right? You want to start a new business, you want to lead, you want to start a project, you want to go and make your business official, you just have a lot of energy. And the two will conjoin on August 14th, so this is like, it's building up. However, immediately after they conjoin, both Mars and Jupiter will square Saturn in your 7th house. And this is active like in the middle of the month, but I'd say most of the month. It's pretty much here. And so your career matters get somehow blocked or restricted by relationships, by contracts you have with other people, right? Like you get excited to start a business, but you discover that you signed some kind of contract that doesn't let you take your clients with you or take the recipes with you or whatever it might be there. Or your professional progress maybe gets contradicted by your significant other that says that, you know, they need you or they don't agree with this project or something. So you may have to address tensions between career and relationships and new opportunities and contracts you have previously signed. The sun is in Leo, your 12th house, until August 22nd. So there is still a bit of a private energy to you, a desire to maybe retreat, take a break, focus on your mental health, do more yoga. There's a new moon in Leo as well on August 4th. It sextiles Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, your 10th. So this could be, you know, new beginnings in your mental health, hiring a therapist. This could also highlight a desire to heal or to do healing, spiritual type of work because of that sextile to your 10th house. Maybe imaginative work, maybe opportunities to work remotely or travel more for work are all likely here. We have Mercury retrograding in Virgo, your 1st house, and in Leo, your 12th house. Venus also enters Virgo on August 4th. We'll stay here until August 29th. Venus in Virgo is exciting because it's the time when you are at your most charming, at your most, you know, you may feel like you want to change your style, improve your look, improve your skincare. You may receive more compliments. Of course, it's Venus in the sign of its fall, so it might be easier to focus on imperfections. I highly recommend my Venus in Taurus candle for you guys because this is Venus in the sign of rulership, or Venus in Libra. Venus in Taurus smells like rose, Venus in Libra smells like honeysuckle jasmine. Both could be really lovely and helpful, especially when it comes to having Venus in the sign of its fall in the next 3 weeks. So, you know, getting one of those candles can help you like chill and be more accepting of yourself and of others. So Mercury goes retrograde on August 4th, and it starts in Virgo, your 1st house, and then on the 14th it enters Leo, and then the retrograde wraps up on the 28th. So, you know, there might be two separate issues, right? There might be retrograde in the 1st could be you thinking about your health and your skincare, or your brand, your maybe logo. And then the second half of the retrograde could be you dealing with some kind of mental health challenges or addressing your spiritual routines or maybe reworking your creative project. Or the two can be connected, and the retrograde could be about being honest with sort of invisible habits you have, self-defeating tendencies you have, and maybe making changes to your self-care, to your mental health, so that you can be more empowered and more happy within yourself. But it's a very personal retrograde, obviously, because it's happening in your first house, right? So it is the time when you're questioning what makes you you, what makes you unique. You're maybe questioning your look, your style, your skincare, anything like that. On August 19th, we get the full moon in the 6th house. This one is a doozy. I don't think I've used that word in a long time or ever. But this one is tough because we have two T-squares, the mutable one and the fixed one. There is a T-square, which is a very tense aspect between Venus and Virgo, Jupiter and Gemini, and Saturn and Pisces, which is the energy I talked about earlier, some kind of conflicting energy between your house of career and your house of relationships. There is also the full moon in the 6th squaring Uranus in the 9th. So some type of change, ending, release in the house of work, in the house of everyday life, in the house of health, that is prompted by a surprise in the sector of education, travel, writing, and legal matters. You may be, you may get an opportunity to publish a novel and you decide to quit your job. Or you may sort of run into some kind of challenge with the legal issue, right? And you decide to unload the project to somebody else. I think the fact that there is so many squares and so much tension around this time, it really suggests that you need to be careful, that you need to move slowly, that you need to be patient with yourself and others, and perhaps kind of navigate things with have a plan. Do not expect things to go well. Full moon in the 6th house is like, how can you take care of yourself in the middle of chaos, in the middle of frustration, in the middle of challenges? So maybe it's the time to schedule a doctor's appointment or schedule a massage, do something kind of kind for yourself. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra, your 2nd house, and until September 22nd, she's likely to bring you more financial blessings, encourage you to spend on beauty and self-care, and maybe even bring more compliments and rewards financially for the work that you do. If you want to know more about your month to come and you want to know what's personally coming up for you, what kind of transits are happening in your chart, pick up a subscription on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's a couple of options. You can receive written horoscopes or have a one-on-one consultation with me. On my website, you can also get a natal chart, relationship, or predictive reading. Let's talk about the lovely Libra rising. In July, you were dealing with financial matters, paying off debts, signing contracts, getting insurance, dealing with inheritance as Mars traveled through Taurus, your 8th house. Maybe also address some uncomfortable conversations around money and values. Your professional sector has been quite busy with the Sun, Venus, and new moon in Cancer, new opportunities, new beginnings, as well as opportunities to network, go out more, connect with people, befriend new people, as Mercury, Venus, and the Sun all entered Leo. You could have also dealt with some tensions and drama involving romance, pleasure, creativity, and parenthood, as Leo planets opposed Pluto in the 5th house. And finally, we had the 2nd full moon in Capricorn, your 4th house, on July 21st, which could have brought changes involving family, home, living situation, comfort, and security. Let me know what it was like. How did it go for you? I'd be curious to know and compare my notes with your notes because I am a Libra rising as well. Could you tell? In August, Mars joins Jupiter. It actually joins Jupiter on July 20th in your 9th house. Mars spends the entire month in your 9th house, conjoins Jupiter on August 14th. And you're feeling excited. You're feeling excited to grow, right? 9th house is the place of growth. It's the place of spiritual inquiry, philosophical inquiry. It's the place of long journeys and education. So you're maybe gearing up for a trip. You're maybe planning a trip. You're maybe learning or thinking of going back to school. You're maybe thinking of writing and publishing your work. However, Mars and Jupiter will both square Saturn. So this is exact between August 16th, 19th, but because how slowly Jupiter is moving and how much of the time he's spending together with Mars, I would say this is active all the way from August 6th until August 29th. So all the entirety of the month. And Saturn is in your 6th house. So this desire to grow will have to deal with the reality of Saturn, with the reality of everyday life, right? Like 6th house is health issues, yours or someone else's. 6th house is problem solving. 6th house is pets, so a pet needing your attention. 6th house is work. So maybe you're getting ready for a trip, but your boss says no, or your workload is really high, or there is just some kind of, you know, like I am working on the planner, for example, as a Libra rising, and I'm working on zodiacal notebooks. And so Saturn in the 6th, hopefully that's not what's going to happen, but Saturn in the 6th might be like a printing error or some kind of, you know, something that is maybe hard to account for, but is quite normal for it to happen. So be ready to deal with some responsibilities to others, frustrating authority figures, work matters, health matters that affect your plans. And it's not a never gonna happen type energy. It's a take a step back, rethink your approach, try again later type of energy. Your focus on friendships, networks, social media, new hopes and dreams continues with the Sun in Leo until August 22nd. There's a new moon in Leo on August 4th that sextiles Mars and Jupiter in Gemini in the 9th. So similar energy because it's connected to Mars and Jupiter in the 9th. I feel like you are maybe exploring new projects. You're looking for recognition on some level. You're building your network. You're connecting with more people. You're maybe starting project or getting excited about things that involve education, travel, writing, publishing. So this part is quite fun. On August 4th, Venus enters Virgo, stays here until the 29th. The Sun enters Virgo on the 22nd. Mercury is here. Venus in Virgo in your 12th house might be a bit tricky. I would really recommend my Venus in Libra candle for any Libra rising, but especially during this period, because this is Venus in your sign. You're born with the sign of Venus in rulership. When she's in Libra, you feel empowered, you feel happy. Definitely get this. Venus in Virgo might create a little bit more of like self-critical, nitpicky drama in relationships because you're being really tough on your partner or you're being really tough on yourself. It could be the time when you're consciously or unconsciously instigating drama in relationships, going for people that are unavailable and not good for you. So beware of that. At the same time, we also have Mercury going retrograde between August 4th and 28th, starting in your 12th house, ending in your 11th house, which could be similar, right? Like it's like what self-defeating tendencies you have. What is lurking in your blind spot? What kind of like criticism and a need to be right or a need to be a winner? Like what is actually blocking you and making your life harder, and how can you release it? It might be issues that sabotage your dreams or sabotage your friendships because the retrograde goes from the 12th into the 11th. It could also be quite, you know, two separate issues. When it's in Virgo between the 4th and 14th, you are examining your self-defeating habits, you're being more introspective, you're rethinking your maybe like sleeping schedule, your social media, scrolling patterns, etc. And then when it's in Leo from the 14th until the 28th, it could be a little bit more about miscommunications with friends, maybe old friendships coming back, reviving some friendships, things like that. On the 19th of August, we get the full moon in Aquarius, your 5th house. This one is rough. This one is rough because we have Venus opposite Saturn square Jupiter, which is a tense T-square at the same time. And then the full moon in Aquarius, which is already an opposition between the Sun and the Moon, also squares Uranus in your 8th house. So Uranus in the 8th could bring some kind of surprise around resources. Maybe it's a positive one. Maybe it's your partner winning a lottery or you're getting an inheritance. And then the full moon in the 5th is the time when you're completely reviewing what pleasure is and what joy is, and you're deciding to quit your job to go travel, right? Or it could be a more challenging. Uranus in the 8th could be like a bill you forgot, the insurance that lapses, or you know, some kind of debt, or some kind of financial challenge, or even some kind of disagreement you discover between yourself and your partner, or yourself and someone else in your life. And then full moon in the 5th is asking you to make changes that actually encourage more joy. So changes might involve ending a relationship, they might involve moving forward in a relationship, they might involve completing a creative project and opening yourself up to something else. Pregnancy might be a possibility here, right? Getting pregnant, and maybe it's traumatic because you're not ready for it, or some kind of change around pregnancy, maybe you're giving birth, is also possible. I would just urge you to think rationally about things, to move slowly. Aquarius is a very rational sign. The amount of squares hopefully will get softened by Aquarius, and will help you be calm and patient under pressure. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Whoop, whoop. We love Venus in Libra. This is your first house. She will stay here until September 22nd, blessing you with charm, beauty, visibility, elegance. Great time to color your hair, update your style, make sort of adjustments, improvements, go dating, and enjoy yourself. That is truly like one of the best times all year. I really like Venus in Libra as a Libra rising myself. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, you want to know what's coming up for you specifically, become a subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can get monthly horoscopes emailed to you, or broken down in a one-on-one consultation every month if you get my VIP subscription on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also book a reading and get a live conversation with me talking about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. If you are a Scorpio rising, in July, there was a lot of focus on your relationships with Mars and Taurus. Maybe you've dealt with some, uncomfortable conversations, addressed some tensions. You could have opened your mind to travel, maybe went on more trips, maybe studied, maybe explored a philosophical sort of or religious topic with the Sun, Venus, and New Moon in Cancer, your 9th house. Your professional sector was quite highlighted all month with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun in Leo, your 10th house. However, it wasn't all easy. Leo planets opposed Pluto in the 4th, and you could have dealt with some tensions between your work and your aspirations, your outside ambitions, and your home family dynamics. So those oppositions could have encouraged you to handle things better and create more work-life balance in your life. The full moon in Capricorn, your 3rd house, the second full moon on July 21st, could have brought change to your relationships with siblings, maybe more honest conversation, maybe encouraged better boundaries in relationships with siblings and neighbors, and called you to take some exams or complete some writing projects. Let me know how July went. Was it a good month? Did you feel the stresses, or did you just enjoy the entire month? If so, good for you. In August, Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini, your 8th house. Mars is your chart ruler, so he's quite important. And the two conjoin on the 14th. Jupiter being in Gemini for a full year suggests that there's maybe new partnerships that are coming into your life. There may be new loans or sort of, like mortgage or some kind of scholarship that you're exploring. And so Mars will encourage you to take action. It will encourage you to apply for that scholarship, to pay off that debt, to start that collaboration, to get that loan, to join resources with a partner, and transform things, right? Like 8th house is also the place of therapy, death, and rebirth. So Mars could be like, let's go, let's do it, let's take care of it. However, Mars and Jupiter will both square Saturn. So the entire month, this energy is present, but it's especially strong between 16th and 19th of the month. Give it 10 days on each side, right? These are slow-moving planets, Jupiter and Saturn, suggesting that this desire for new beginnings in relationships, shared finances, get somehow thwarted or blocked or restricted by Saturn in the 5th house. And that could be real life challenges involving parenthood. You know, you're ready to go start a business partnership, but your child is going through a difficult time and you need to be with them. Or you're ready to start this partnership, but your vision doesn't align with their vision, and you have to maybe take a step back, go back to the drawing board and renegotiate. There may be some relationship disagreements, right? You understand that that like starting a new chapter in relationship, or getting a loan or sort of applying for something might contradict your habits and your enjoyment of life. So once again, like having to navigate some of these frustrating topics and delays and restrictions is quite likely here. So stay patient and calm. The focus on your career continues. There is going to be a new moon in Leo on August 4th. The sun is here until August 22nd. So you have more energy and courage and ability to shine. Sun in Leo is a natural performer, happy expressing itself, speaking. So, you know, this could be a beneficial, maybe like, especially the new moon, new job, new project, new role in the collective are all likely here. Your 11th house is quite highlighted all month too. Mercury is here. Venus enters on August 4th, stays until August 29th. The sun does on August 22nd. So you are connecting with friends. You are exploring new projects. You're maybe working in tandem with somebody else, or working on your social media presence, filming videos, creating content. Something about your friendships and your strategy and your networks will need to be revisited because Mercury goes retrograde. I highly recommend you guys my Mercury in Virgo candle, because this is Mercury direct in the sign of rulership, perfect for communication, writing, speech, clarity, and it could help you navigate or deal with this retrograde in the best possible way. Check out my website for that. But the retrograde starts in your 11th house on the 4th of August, and then on the 14th it shifts into your 10th and then lasts until the 28th. So there is an implication there that you are maybe rethinking your network. Maybe you're looking at your contact list and wondering which ones of your friends and connections can help you reach professional goals. You're maybe addressing your dreams and kind of clarifying what is important to you, or you are rethinking your social media strategy. Maybe you're dealing with some kind of friendship challenge, right? The retrograde can bring up two very different issues. It could be about friendships and career, or it could be about the two mushed together, right? Like networks, dreams, ambitions, and how can those become a part of your everyday reality and a part of your career. Mercury will definitely ask you some of those questions and encourage some deep insights. August 18th is really lovely. There's a Mercury Cazimi, so that could be the time of sort of clarity. On August 19th, we have a dramatic full moon in Aquarius in your 4th house. This is completion of the chapter started in February with a new moon in Aquarius. And it suggests changes, transformations involving home, family, and living situation. Why is it tense? It happens at the same time as Jupiter squares Saturn. Venus opposes Saturn, so some kind of, you know, restrictions, delays, challenges you're navigating. The full moon squares Uranus in your 7th house, so it's not the one I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna be completely honest. Uranus in the 7th represents surprise in your relationship, in your business partnership, in your contractual agreement with somebody else, that then trickles down into your home and family life. You know, Uranus in the 7th could be your partner telling you that they got a job opportunity somewhere, or that they want to have a separate bedroom or something because they can't sleep in the same bed or with you or something. There could also be, you know, it could be a more positive change, but still something that like disrupts you and affects where you live, affects who you live with, affects your living situation, your home. So maybe, you know, maybe a partner says they no longer want a pool and you decide to end your construction project. Or there is some kind of family drama that affects your relationship. So very intense. Especially around like home, family, living situation. But it's like with 2 T-squared, there's just like, I feel like you may be really frustrated about something else, but then it affects your relationship with family. So be ready and make sure you're not transferring your frustration onto the people you love. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Your 12th house will be here until September 22nd. This is a great time to get away with someone you love, to explore spirituality, to paint in solitude, but watch out for stirring drama, for going for people who are not right for you and making poor choices in relationships. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, become a subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, to receive monthly horoscopes, or book a one-on-one consultation to talk about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. If you are a Sagittarius rising, in July, you potentially worked a lot with Mars in Taurus, your 6th house. You could have dealt with financial matters, paid off debts, negotiated agreements during Cancer season, and then Leo season brought attention to travel, education, writing, legal matters, and publishing. Maybe you came up with new ideas, maybe you decided to travel, or you discovered a new sort of class you wanted to take. Some ideological battles were potentially happening, or some tensions involving siblings, neighbors, schedule could have been highlighted and brought up to your attention as Leo planets oppose Pluto in your 3rd house. And finally, the full moon, 2nd full moon in Capricorn on July 21st, suggests a change to your money and values as you paid off debts, made a big purchase, consulted a financial advisor, or made changes to your work life. Quit a job, started a job, changed roles, etc. Let me know, what was July like? Does this resonate? Do you feel like it was a good month or a more stressful month? I'd be curious to know. In August, Mars and Jupiter meet in your 7th house, and you are very much busy. So yeah, so Mars and Jupiter are both in your 7th house in Gemini in August, and you have the energy to go on more dates, to sign contracts, to look for clients, to negotiate and sign contracts, if I haven't said that yet. Mars and Jupiter conjoin on the 14th of the month, which is all very exciting, right? It's very much like, let's move in together, let's buy a home together, let's start a business together. And then Mars and Jupiter immediately square Saturn in the 4th. So it's like, nope, not yet. First, you have to deal with a family challenge. Your mother needs you, your mother wants to live with you, and you can't move out. Or your family doesn't agree with your choices. Or your family takes out the money that they paid you, you know, maybe you're younger and your family kind of gives you an allowance. So your relationship plans and your excitement about new beginnings will have to contend with the realities involving your living situation, realities involving family, maybe even some kind of childhood trauma, right? 7th house versus 4th house. Like, how are you still maybe carrying some of the childhood patterns you witnessed from your parents into your existing relationship? You may have to address that. As always, Saturn wants to teach you lessons. It wants you to proceed carefully. It's not like, no, never gonna happen, your relationship is doomed. But it does suggest that there is some element of like sit down, think it over, and then try again later. The sun is in Leo, your 9th house, until August 22nd. We get a new moon in Leo on August 4th, sextiling Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, your 7th house. So the new moon in the 9th house represents new beginnings involving education, going back to school, travel, moving. Since there is a sextile to the 7th house, I wonder if you're moving for love, or you're moving for business, or you're dating someone foreign. That could also be a possibility. Partnerships involving law and publishing and writing are also quite possible with this new moon. Overall, pretty exciting. Quite a positive new moon, which I cannot say the same about the full moon in Aquarius later in the month, but more on that a little later. There is a lot of focus on your house of career in August as well. Venus enters Virgo on the 4th, stays here until the 29th. The sun enters on the 22nd, Mercury is here. It is retrograde most of the month, but there's still a lot of action professionally. You're maybe talking to bosses, you may be coming up with new ideas. You're very much craving joy in your career, which is what Venus in the 10th house is all about. It should help you deal with people in power and sort of get their support. However, because Venus is in fall in Virgo, you may kind of struggle with critical bosses, or you being really critical and sort of noticing the flaws before you see the possibilities. Venus in Libra, candle is really, really great for that. And then Venus and then Mercury in Virgo is also really great for navigating the retrograde. So those are two options I would recommend. So Mercury is retrograde between August 4th and August 28th. It starts in Virgo, your 10th house of career, and it wraps up in Leo, your 9th house of education, travel, writing, publishing, legal matters. So, you know, whenever we have the retrograde in two zodiac signs, this could suggest that there's two separate issues, right? The 10th house is some work project that requires your attention, and you need to rewrite it, redo it. And then the 9th house is about like a travel plan that falls through, or some kind of logistical error, like you can't take your dog on the plane with you and you need to figure out how to change your ticket, right? Or the two can be connected. Since the retrograde starts in the 10th house of career and goes into the 9th, one might wonder, what is missing in your professional life? Is it something that requires you to take a class or to take an exam? Maybe there is, you know, maybe there is a place you need to travel to, or a mentor you need to connect with. So, you know, the house of education, writing, publishing is very much attached to the house of career. And around the retrograde, you will be encouraged to ask yourself some deep questions. Even honestly, with the retrograde going from the 10th into the 9th, like questions of what do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? About your worthiness of things and your worthiness of success potentially, and what can you do to get there. So August 19th is the very exciting full moon in Aquarius, and I'm being sarcastic because it's quite dramatic, this full moon in Aquarius. It is the one that holds within two T-squares. There is a T-square between Venus in your 10th, Jupiter in your 7th, and Saturn in your 4th, which is some, you know, serious decisions around career, relationships, home, and family. And then the full moon in the 3rd also squares Uranus in the 6th. So I see this as, yes, there are delays and things are maybe feeling like they're not going your way, and you're feeling frustrated about it. And instead of like acting out of this frustration and lashing out, the full moon in Aquarius is encouraging you to take a step back, to deal with surprises and drama in a rational way, and also to look at your schedule, to look at your communication. Do you need to be honest with people? Do you need to tell people like how much stress you're feeling, how overwhelmed you are? Do you need to change your schedule? Do you need to streamline something? Do you need to declutter? Do you need to let go of something? Because like you don't have to suffer alone, right? Like if you're overwhelmed, Tell that to your boss. Let go of some of your responsibilities. So it's a tense full moon. It definitely suggests some kind of transformation of your schedule, your everyday life, your communication, your relationship with siblings. And because it's in Aquarius, I think the more rational you can be, the more kind of open-minded you could be, the better. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Your 11th house will stay here until September 22nd. And this is a blessing for relationships, for networking, for connecting with other people. You are very charming. There might be more weddings to go to, more parties to attend, and more fun to be had. If you're looking for a personal horoscope, become a subscriber on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can receive written horoscopes or get a 30-minute consultation with me every month to talk about what's coming up for you. On my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, you can also pick up a natal, predictive, or relationship reading to talk to me one-on-one. For the beautiful Capricorn rising, in July, there was a lot of focus on your relationships and partnerships with Mars and Taurus, and the Sun, Venus, and New Moon in Cancer. You may have started a new relationship. You may have experimented sexually and had a good time, or maybe you've signed a contract and started a creative partnership with somebody. Leo season encouraged you to pay off debts, apply for loans, get a mortgage, handle finances that are yours and your partners, and maybe you had to deal with some disagreements around money and values as Leo planets oppose Pluto in your second house. And finally, the full moon in Capricorn, the second full moon on July 21st, brought change to your house of identity, health, looks, style, encouraging you to maybe transform something about yourself and create a better flow in your life. What was July like? Please share. In August, Mars and Jupiter spend the entire month in your 6th house. Mars is in its joy in the 6th, so you feel empowered to take action, to work, to problem solve, to see doctors, to exercise, to eat better. There may be some projects that you're willing to dedicate yourself to, right? Like 12th house is always a place of blood, sweat, and tears. So Mars is the warrior, Jupiter is optimistic, and you're like, I am gonna lose all the weight. I am going to study nutrition. I am gonna win this competition. However, right after Mars and Jupiter conjoin on August 14th, both of those planets will square Saturn in your 3rd house. And this energy is present the entire month, right? That's why I called it the grand royale battle between the two. And this is a slowdown. This is a slowdown. This is not like, no, it's not going to happen, but this is the time to look at the reality of the situation. Saturn in the 3rd can suggest that there is some scheduling issue that is affecting your exercise plans, or there's a communication issues, or there is some kind of logistical issue, like your car breaks down and you can't make it to the gym, or your sibling calls you up and like they need you to babysit their child. So some type of real life schedule, sibling, logistics, car breaking down, technology issues that, of course, with Saturn, the invitation is to look at it through the honest lens and make the changes necessary, right? Like, get an update, get your car serviced, talk to your sibling that maybe you cannot babysit their child every time they need you to. The focus on paying off debts and loans and maybe healing continues with the Sun in Leo, your 8th house, until August 22nd. There's a new moon here on August 4th, and it sextiles Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, your 6th. So maybe an exciting partnership, maybe a professional reward, some kind of bonus, some kind of return on investment is likely. Maybe a chance to invest into that passion project that I spoke about earlier are all possible with this new moon, as well as maybe like healing and exploring your spiritual interests, because 8th house very much is the place of like death and rebirth, mysteries, shadow work. So with the new moon here, you might also be investing in taking better care of yourself and like exploring your passions. You are likely to travel, to write, to study or teach, to deal with legal matters this month, as Mercury, Venus, and the Sun at one point or the other all travel through Virgo. Venus here could encourage you to go on a trip with your significant other, or talk to a foreigner, maybe meet someone while you're traveling, all possible here. She will also encourage you to study. Venus in Virgo is very perfectionist and analytical, so maybe it's also about you kind of, you know, learning about something with like that perfectionist A student attitude. Maybe you're learning about religion, or you're taking an exam or something like that. Mercury goes retrograde here between August 4th and 28th, and my choice for this retrograde is my Mercury in Virgo candle. It smells like fresh cut grass, and it's been the best at like helping me focus and write and sort of deal with every single retrograde we've had since this one was created in 2022. I still have a couple left, so definitely pick one up as soon as you can. But Mercury is retrograde from August 4th until 28th. It starts in Virgo, your 9th house, and then it goes into Leo, your 8th. And when the retrograde is split between two signs and two houses, this could represent two separate issues, right? With the retrograde starting in Virgo, maybe there's a legal matter you need to attend to, or you're dealing with some kind of travel challenges, some kind of logistical issues. And then from August 14th, when it's in your 8th house, maybe you're handling loans, taxes, inheritance, sort of shared finances, or the two can be connected, right? It starts in the 9th, goes into the 8th, and maybe it's time for you to like ask, how would you pay for your education? Or ask, where will you get money for that lawyer, right? I think it's like very much what changes you need to make to your finances, to your education, to your travel plans, even to your mindset in order to reach kind of more fairness and more balance in your life. The retrograde in the 8th could also be the time when you feel like you have to discuss something with your partner. Maybe you have to attend to something that doesn't feel fair and be honest, right? In order to reach more closeness and intimacy in the relationship. On the 19th of August, we have a very stressful full moon in Aquarius. So it is stressful because it connects, it has not just one T-square, the full moon square is Uranus in your 5th house, but there's also a T-square between Venus in Virgo, Jupiter in Gemini, and Saturn in Pisces. So that energy of like frustration that I was talking about, right? Like, and things not going your way and you needing to hold off and take it slow is very much present around this full moon. And the fact that the full moon is happening in your 2nd house, it's all about money and resources and values. And there's a square to Uranus in the 5th, which could represent some kind of revelation involving your romantic partner, some kind of surprise involving parenthood, some kind of creative maybe breakthrough or breakdown. And so the full moon in the 2nd is the time when you have to think about your resources honestly and carefully. And we're not just talking about financial resources, right? It could also be your energetic resources. Have you been pushing too hard for something? Have you been, you know, struggling romantically? Have you been like trying to get pregnant or trying to push a creative project off the ground? So this full moon could be an opportunity to just take a step back, to maybe pay off some debts, to consult people, to consult financial advisors, to rethink the work that you're doing and how you can do things differently to maybe make it a little bit more lucrative. So a lot of important questions around the time of this full moon. Definitely stay patient and be ready for things to be irritating and people to be irritating too. But like, if you're aware that you're not the only one feeling irritated, hopefully it can help you get through it better. On August 29th, Venus enters Libra. Your 10th house will be here until September 22nd. And this is beautiful for professional matters, for getting along with bosses, for having more joy in your career, for working on projects that are creative and exciting and social as well. If you're looking for more, become my subscriber on my website. There is a horoscope subscription that just involves written horoscopes. Those are very personal and tailored to your chart. Or there is a VIP subscription, which is a live one-on-one conversation every month. You can also book a reading and figure out what your natal chart has to say, what your year has in store, or what your relationship can benefit from on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely Aquarius rising in July, you may have been quite active interacting with family, maybe fixing things in your home and taking action involving moving and renovating. There could have been more action in the professional sector and more focus on your health, your diet, your exercise practices, even more action involving your pets during Cancer season, and more focus on relationships, partnerships, and contracts as Mercury, Venus, and the Sun all entered Leo, your 7th house of relationships. Additionally, all of those planets opposed Pluto, so they could have highlighted some tensions between your personal power and desires and those of people in your life. Some kind of disagreements between your goals and other people's goals, and maybe revealed some challenges in relationships or personal, even like personal attitudes that you needed to address. Finally, the second full moon in Capricorn on July 21st brought change and attention to your mental health, to your self-defeating tendencies, to your bad habits, encouraging potentially you to ask for help, maybe to implement better practices, to lean into yoga, meditation, spirituality, and things like that. Does this resonate? Does it describe your July? I'd love to know. In August, Mars enters on July 20th, Mars enters Gemini, but spends the entirety of August in your 5th house together with Jupiter. So this could be a very enthusiastic time, at least initially, because Mars is proactive, right? And the 5th house, it wants to go out, have fun. It wants to compete. It wants to date. It might be the time when you're like actively putting yourself out there. It wants to spend time with children or spend time making children. So Mars conjoins Jupiter on August 14th. And this is the time when you're like so excited about something, a new creative project, a new relationship, parenthood, pleasure, competition. However, immediately between the 16th and 19th of August, but give it 10 days on each side, Mars and Jupiter will also square Saturn. And Saturn is in your 2nd house. This is not a new issue. This is an old issue. This is a challenge involving money and values that somehow dampens your enthusiasm, that calls for a reality check, right? Saturn in the 2nd could be a literal, like you are excited about a trip that you want to go on with your significant other, but then Saturn in the 2nd steps in and you realize that you actually can't because you have to spend half of your salary on a dental bill, or you realize that maybe, you know, like there might also be some kind of sense of dissatisfaction with work and with rewards you're getting, or maybe disagreement you and your partner have about spending money. So as always the case with Saturn, you are encouraged to address the challenges, to have honest conversations, and to sort of figure things out as patiently, as calmly as possible. Saturn doesn't mean you're never gonna reach that point of like financial stability and freedom, but it could suggest that there's still more steps to take before you can just like jump into it and do whatever you want, right? Have that baby, have that creative project. The focus on relationships, partnerships, and contracts continues with the Sun in Leo, your 7th house, until August 22nd. There is a new moon in Leo on August 4th, and it sextiles Mars and Jupiter in the 5th. So before you run into that roadblock, you are likely to start something new in your love life. This could be the time when you move the relationship to the next level. You commit, you make things official, you get engaged, you get married, you start talking about becoming parents, you move in together. So there's like a lot of new beginnings. If you're single, maybe it's about a business partnership. Maybe it's about putting yourself out there and starting to date, right? Especially if you've been thinking about it but not taking action. So a lot of possibilities in terms of new beginnings in you and someone else. A lot of focus is also on your shared finances, on debts, taxes, loans, inheritance, with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun in Virgo, your 8th house. Venus in Virgo between August 4th and August 29th could be beneficial for your partner. You could see maybe some gifts from them. You can also feel a desire to partner up with other people, to come up with something like that is like a marriage of the two ideas. However, because it's Venus in the sign of her fall, you might notice that you might sort of struggle with being critical or perfectionist or nitpicky. I highly recommend my Venus in Libra candle because it fits really nicely with your Aquarius rising, and it can help you deal with this more critical, analytical, rational Venus and Virgo energy. Mercury goes retrograde between August 4th and 28th. The retrograde starts in Virgo 8th and then goes into Leo, your 7th house. So when there is like, 8th and 7th house connected, of course it could be two separate issues. Maybe initially you're dealing with some like loan or some debt you forgot to pay, and then your ex shows up from like the 14th of August when the retrograde shifts into Leo. So two separate issues are possible, or two connected things are possible, right? Maybe with the retrograde beginning in Virgo in your 8th house, you are in this place where you can no longer hide from having uncomfortable conversations. Maybe you have to address the money matters, or you have to address the disagreements, the questions about the future, the questions of where you see yourself, whether you see yourself having a child or your partner sees themselves having a child. It's like, what do you need to talk about with like the rational attitude of Mercury and Virgo in order to have a better relationship? But do watch out for exes coming back around, especially between the 14th and 28th of the month when the retrograde is in your 7th house. August 18th, we have Mercury Cazimi, so that could be pretty eye-opening and like actually a good time to have any uncomfortable conversations. On August 19th, we have a very tense and frustrating full moon in Aquarius. It's your 1st house. It's all about your identity. It's all about your health, your image, your style, your brand. We are completing a chapter started on February 9th with new moon in Aquarius. So take a look back at what got started in your life around that time. This full moon is not fun. It's intense. It squares Uranus in the 4th house, which can suggest surprises involving home, family, your living situation, like, a family member breaks a leg or something, and you are sort of forced to step up and be in a certain position of like leadership. Or there is a conflict with a family member and you're making tough decisions about like living alone, or a conflict with someone in your home. There is also a T-square between Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. So disagreements around resources, around finances, like tensions, frustrations, delays. So this full moon, it's rough, right? But I think it's also quite opportune for you to like take a step back, to avoid being reactive, and to think of what's important to you, because it's a full moon in your house, in your 1st house, in your sign. It's about your identity and your power and what you can control. A lot of times we can't control how we react to things, right? We cannot control other people. So this full moon is an invitation to examine how you take care of yourself, how you deal with stress, how you deal with things not going your way, and perhaps make some positive improvements. And then on August 29th, Venus enters Libra, your 9th house. Will stay here until September 22nd. A great time to learn about sex, to learn about love, to learn about travel, to travel with your significant other. You might meet someone while traveling and potentially enjoy learning different languages or different subjects and sort of have fun connecting with foreign people. If you're looking for more, you want to know what the month ahead has in store for you personally, book a reading on my website. You can become a subscriber to receive monthly horoscopes sent to you at the start of every month. There is a VIP option, which involves a face-to-face conversation, 30 minutes every month. Or you can book a longer reading to talk about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. Last but not least, my lovely Pisces risings. In July, you may have dealt with communication challenges with Mars and Taurus, maybe addressed some like sort of logistical issues, renewed your driver's license, applied for a new passport, maybe studied, taken exams, wrote, communicated. All of that is Mars in Taurus, third house. There was also a lot of focus on your house of romance and pleasure with the Sun, Venus, and New Moon in Cancer, potentially with pregnancy, real or creative pregnancy, new passion project, new baby, new relationship. And then Leo season brought attention to your house of health, work, and service. Encouraged you to take better care of yourself, to exercise more, to eat healthier. You may have also run into some challenges, some tensions between your desire for rest and your desire for escape, and all these needs of your physical health as Leo planets oppose Pluto in the 12th house, or even your desire for rest and the demands that your bosses had on you, right? Demands that your work has on you, any like pressures, all of that potentially encouraging you to create a better balance in your life. And we had the second full moon in Capricorn on July 21st, which was all about friendships, maybe some transformations in friendships, maybe completion of dreams or some kind of adjustment, changes to your dreams and what you're excited about, what you're dreaming about. Does that describe your July? I'd be curious to know if you have time to jot something down in the comments. In August, you are likely to experience a lot of action in the house of home and family. Mars and Jupiter are both in Gemini the entire month. This is very active energy. Mars will encourage you to start home improvement projects, to move, to renovate, to see family, to be active with family, to travel with family. And initially you're feeling very excited and enthusiastic about it until Mars and Jupiter meet Saturn, right? The battle royale, as I am calling it. So this energy is present pretty much the entire month, but it's the strongest between August 16th and 19th, 10 days before, 10 days after. And this is Mars and Jupiter in the 4th house, squaring Saturn in the 1st. So you're dealing with some kind of desire to see family, to grow, to expand, to improve your living situation, to find more comfort, and personal struggles potentially. You know, Saturn in your 1st house could represent that there is some health issues that you're dealing with, maybe some self-doubt or some rigidity that you have, some fears that you're needing to address. It's very much like, how are you standing in your own way, right? And before you're moving and seeing family and starting a family, you will have to take care of you. Saturn in Pisces since March 2023 is really all about teaching you how to take care of you. And it might be hard for you, right? Like as a Pisces rising, you might be very attuned to taking care of others and blending with other people and picking up on their feelings. So this square between Jupiter and Mars in Taurus, sorry, in Gemini, and Saturn in Pisces is very much like, will remind you, there might be some tensions with the family, you know, involving your living situation with landlords. There might be some tensions, but like, you will have to prioritize yourself first. You will have to handle your health, your mindset, your kind of routines are more of a priority right now. And it doesn't mean you cannot have the other thing, but Saturn is like the red light. Not yet. Take a step back. The focus on work, health, and service, pets as well continues with the Sun in Leo until August 22nd. There's a new moon in Leo, sextiling Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, your 4th house, on August 4th. And the new moon in Leo might be a new exercise routine, a new diet you're starting, a new professional project, a new pet you're getting. Could it be? Are you the one? Tell me. But the sextile to Mars and Jupiter and Gemini in the 4th can also suggest that you're starting some kind of project that is focused on your home, or like home improvement, your family, bettering relationships with family, but also like bettering your health, right? Like it's very much some kind of labor of love, and labor of love could be about you, or it could be about family or home. There is a lot of focus on Virgo this month too, with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun in Virgo. Venus enters on the 4th, stays here until August 29th. Could suggest that you're more focused on dating, with Mercury being retrograde from August 4th until August 28th. You could be dating someone from your past. There might be someone like an ex coming back into your life, knocking on your door. Maybe you have to deal with an ex. Maybe you're not looking to date them, but maybe you're looking to figure out some kind of logistical situation that you're still involved with in them. Like, you know, maybe they have your stuff, or you had a business together that you need to dissolve or something like that. Venus and Virgo could be a little bit critical and sort of, you know, it may struggle with relaxing. So you may notice that either in yourself or in your significant others. So kind of conflicts around like petty issues are possible. I would recommend my Venus and Pisces candle for you guys, because it's called Exalted Venus, because you are Pisces risings, and Venus and Pisces is just perfect for you. And also Mercury in Virgo, because during the retrograde you might need some of that clear, concise, analytical, rational Mercury in Virgo energy. So I don't know if I said it already, but Mercury is I did say it, I'm sure. Mercury is retrograde between the 4th and the 28th of the month. The retrograde starts in the 7th, goes into the 6th. So it could be about the relationship, and then from the 14th of the month about work and health. So two separate things. Or it could be about making changes to relationship and maybe addressing matters in relationship that involve cleaning and doing laundry and cooking. It might be some kind of, you know, there is some kind of a need to rethink mundane in your relationship and rethink agreements around serving one another and taking care of one another. So both are possible. On August 19th, we have a very intense full moon in Aquarius, your 12th house. It squares Uranus in the 3rd. So there might be some kind of surprise breakthrough in communication, some type of technological glitch, or some kind of scheduling issue that affects your health, affects your mental health, and brings attention to needing to take better care of yourself, right? We have 2 T-squares at the time of this full moon. There's one that is moon opposite sun, square Uranus. And then there's one Venus opposite Saturn, square Jupiter. So there is a lot of want to do things but cannot go. A lot of things not going your way. Relationship drama, personal tensions, family, health issues. It's like a lot, right? And so the full moon in Aquarius is an invitation to take a step back, to withdraw, and to focus on yourself, on your health, on your meditation, on your breathing, on your sleep, because you cannot handle like your own problems and other people's problems, right? Like you got to start by centering and maybe releasing negative self-talk, releasing bad habits, and then you can be a better partner, a better employee, a better son, daughter, child, whatever it might be. So the full moon is rough. It's very, very rough. And I think it also suggests that like you are potentially going through some kind of release. You're needing to let something go before you can have like more peace in your life. On August 29th, things start to change. They start to look up. Venus enters Libra, your 8th house, stays here until September 22nd. Venus in Libra should help you navigate drama. It should help you soften relationships. It's also really good for collaborating with other people, for getting loans if you're looking for one, for paying off debts. It could also be a sign that your partner's finances are improving, or that you're getting rewarded through gifts of other people. If you're looking for more, you want to receive monthly horoscopes at the start of every month, become my subscriber at my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also book a reading. We can look at your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come on my website as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my horoscopes and showing your support. If you haven't subscribed, now is the time. Definitely get the Mercury in Virgo candle. It is the remedy for the retrograde. I only have a few of these left. I'm probably going to make more when Mercury finishes the retrograde and comes back to Virgo. And I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. I will talk to you very soon. Bye.